Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to the talent page update. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about mostly how I've changed as a player. The talent page has changed a decent bit. I think you guys are going to find that I made some interesting changes, but for the most part, my original plan and build idea for this is really working out, but some core changes have happened that have really changed the way that I'm thinking about the class and why there will be a new version of my guide coming out. I also want to know, I'm probably going to start delisting these videos and putting them in a playlist, something still publicly accessible, but if I have YouTube recommend someone like an old talent page video again, I'm going to lose it. So without further ado, let's get into the talent page. So innate magic is the big change on the evoker side for me. More essence regeneration. I've started becoming very echo focused, and I'll get more into why that is later, but I've removed points from things like Bountiful Bloom, because I just straight up, I use Emerald Blossom so few times, like it does almost nothing for me. There's a few places where I use it when I need to keep moving and heal the people back in melee as I like get out of dodge or something, but I use this move so little, and it's not because it's bad. And I think if you run the raid build involving Field of Dreams, I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. But why not just save the point? If I'm going to use it on echoes anyway, I might as well just take this point and move it somewhere else. And so that is exactly what I've done. Over on this side of the tree, Flow State, I do want to talk about the death of Flow State. Still don't underestimate this talent. If you need a haste break point, or like you just need a little bit of help with your spell speed, honestly, remove a point from something and throw it over into Flow State. But once you hit the correct haste amount, I say get rid of this. Now, that also means you've probably run enough dungeons at the point where your gear score is high enough that you're hitting the break point you want to hit, that like you don't need Flow State anymore. But this does a lot of work for you in lower keys and just lets you kind of throw out a ton of spells very quickly. So I'm a huge fan of this. However, I've put the points in Renewing Breath and Spiritual Clarity. So Renewing Breath, right? We don't take Call of Ysera, which by the way, I use in Raid, and I totally get why y'all love this move. I'm still not going to use it in dungeons, but it's damn, it's quite nice in Raid. But 10 seconds off Spirit Bloom is massive. You don't think it's massive when you hear it, like, oh, 10 seconds off a 30-second cooldown, like it's not damage. But how many times a healing phase comes around and I have like 5 or 6 or 7 seconds left on Spirit Bloom. I need to be using other buttons. I needed to be using other buttons a moment ago, right? This has saved my butt. I'm not always using Spirit Bloom for it, but when I do use Spirit Bloom, I get to really lean into it. And it plays nicer with stasis, right? I can set up a stasis with this and then hold the stasis for a little bit, get another full charge Spirit Bloom out at some point with maybe a temporal anomaly, set up another temporal anomaly, and then fire the stasis that had the Spirit Bloom charged in it. And then Spirit Bloom's like already halfway off cooldown. I really like this. And also, given that this and Emerald or Verdant Embrace are similar cooldowns now, you'll actually end up finding that you can like cleave heal with one and then catch the other with Spirit Bloom, and they stay staggered in a way that is very not satisfying but efficient. You always feel like you have one of them up. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this talent one more time. Y'all are crazy if you don't take Life Force Mender in Mythic Plus. More damage, more healing, 2% of your maximum health. I did the math before. It was chunky. I don't think I have the math on hand anymore. It's lost in someone's Discord DMs. I could go dig for it, but like, go try it for yourself. Turn off Life Force Mender and just get an average of 5 or 6 non-crit heals and crit heals, and then like compare them to having Life Force Mender. This only gets stronger the higher your gear score goes. And then next season, this is probably going to become mandatory because we're going to have even more health. So please take this talent, right? Your damage goes up, your healing goes up, everything goes up from Life Force Mender, please. It's so useful. And for every single person who ever doubted me on Energy Loop, I don't mean to stick it in your face, but this has saved me in high keys. The damage has been more than worth it. Like, you can contribute so much with Energy Loop and you get so much out of it. There are times where I'm strapped for mana on a boss fight, but I can in fact cover my butt by fishing for some free disintegrates with Living Flame, and all of a sudden I have a large chunk of my mana bar back. This is nice. I'm probably never gonna not run this. I also plan to run this in Raid, but if my guild is really good, like if my team is good, you'll see me probably over on the standard build where this is on Rewind and I take Spark of Insight instead. But I end up taking Energy Loop in Raid because I need more mana in Raid, but like LFR is wild. Like I shouldn't be worried about LFR, but I have to heal so much in there sometimes. And so just really quick, because I will go over this in my new guide, Echo has been the biggest change. I'm going to throw some gameplay on screen here of a Shadow Moon Burial Ground where I do a blanket heal. You know, a nice little temporal anomaly setup. You throw out, get some echoes going, you hit the Dream Breath, and then there was a hunter out in Narnia, like, that didn't get with the breath. And no big deal, it happens, right? Like, you can't legitimately hit everyone all the time. So I just throw an echo on them. And what this does is when you miss someone with a setup, the echo kind of is insurance for later. Like, hey, if a big AoE goes out, if like some fixation happens and that target ends up getting blasted, you already have an echo on them. Or you hit reversion on the tank to heal them, and you just got a nice ticking hot on that player. The echo, when you miss something, the pre-echoes before a pull have been making the difference. If I was going to give you guys any advice in hierarchies, as you start doing the more difficult content for your gear score, the more you can prepare, like, hey, a mechanic's coming out, throw the temporal anomaly now, get some echoes out now, swap your single target to Living Flame. Oh, you're doing a big stasis setup, swap your single target to Azure Strike. Because having that preparation, that moment to get set up, is saving you 2, 3, 4 GCDs sometimes in your heal. When a lot of you know what it's like to fall behind. Discipline Priest, I know Resto Shamans, I know Holy Paladin suffers from it a little bit, but you know when like you're falling off, you know you're running out of fuel and you have to wait a few seconds before you can keep going. When you fall behind, it's a terrible feeling. Preservation, when it falls behind, falls absolutely apart, but it doesn't fall behind often. But I do find that if I'm not playing around the fact that it could fall behind, it hurts me. So throwing out that early stasis, pre-echoing players has been the game plan. That's why my flow state is now 2 points. It's 10% faster regen. That's why we have the 10 seconds off Spirit Bloom, so that I can just continually prepare and keep up for players. And I'm telling you, just even one moment of like, oh, that mechanic might be soon, I'm going to throw a temporal anomaly. That really does make a difference. And you'll find the better you get at the class and the better you get at reading your team and positioning, you get a ton of work done that way. And there are some mechanics that straight up feel like they're impossible when you're healing from behind. And when you're healing from one step ahead, it's just cake. It's just easy. And that's why I've been running it this way. So let me know what you guys think about the build. But I haven't heard, other people have been straight up telling me that like there's a totally different builds that people are running right now for Mythic Plus. But for me, I haven't found a wall yet. I haven't found a place where I can't develop more. This still feels fun and it still feels powerful and nothing has held me back. This might sound a little cocky, but I realistically think that the only thing holding me back right now is pugs. And granted, I am the pug star right now. Like that's the goal, is to hit a hero with almost nothing but pugs. But like, if I just find a good group, we're good. I know where my mistakes are, but I don't feel like I'm ever getting like to the point where, oh, you can't heal through something. It's like, no, that's a players need to know to use their defensive situation, or that's players needing to be prepared to move on a mechanic. I rarely am running into spots where I feel like I'm the problem, but I'm really happy about that. That means that the build's working. That means that the ideas are coming together, and I'm really happy about that. And just in general, I don't mind making mistakes, but I think it's important to share what's working when you have a YouTube channel and you're working on classes, because you guys then get to run with that information. And to which, by the way, another just big thank you all so much. Everyone's been coming through the Twitch channel and telling me like, hey, your YouTube videos are helping me out so much. I'm loving preservation, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, it has been so much fun to do. But that's going to do it for this talent page update. We do have the new guide coming out. I'm going to work on that soon. Unless I have a little bit of a bigger video planned, I might get some smaller stuff done beforehand. But we got to get this tier list video out. Yeah, that's right. We're going to discuss what's wrong with tier lists, or kind of the problem behind tier lists. And it's going to be part of the pug guides. I think it's that important. So strap yourselves in for that one. I think it's going to be a really good listen. It's been cooking since my Smash days. None of y'all ready for this. I'm really excited about it. But feel free to chat me up in the comments, and I will see you all soon.